Some people who they're wanting to come here, they don't know any Russian yet. And that's okay. I moved to Russia because of opportunities. My Russian dream is to жить красиво, быть красивым и делать красиво для других. Pavel Durov, let's go. Shake my hand. Hunter, that is not appropriate in this environment, in this setting. People call Moscow, Moscow, or Moskva, but I call Moscow, Vegas. Hunter, you're done. Stop. You're done. And I'm like, oh man, I really messed this up. That life is short, and you need to live where you're happy. And so, like, for me, like, I'm extremely happy in Moscow.
Hi everybody, my name is Ivanna. I work at Braiden Consulting, and here I have Hunter Cawood with me today.
Thanks for the invitation. It's really awesome to be here. Really awesome to see you, and yeah, excited to talk a little bit today.
Thank you. It's amazing to meet because I know you're a client of ours, and although I'm a new employee, it's very nice to finally meet you in person as someone who we worked with before.
Heck yeah. Well, and I'm very thankful to you guys. Like, obviously, the work you guys have done for me has really like changed my life and made my life here in Russia a lot easier. And so I'm happy to see. Well, I'm happy to help other people do that, and I know that's a big theme for you guys is helping others. So yeah, no, excited.
Yeah, that's like the thing of the whole interview, the whole idea. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for agreeing to participate in that. So let's get to it.
Dive in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 9 years ago, you moved to Russia and you built a successful life here.
Yeah.
You do plenty of things. You have your own blog on Instagram. One of your recent TV appearances is in Subota.
Yeah.
In Chikuli, the TV show.
That's right.
That was something very special, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was cool. It was fun. That was a really cool TV show. Basically, the idea was that, it's kind of from actually an old TV show in the United States called Beauty and the Geek, my bad.
Yeah, I think I heard it.
Yeah, it was Ashton Kutcher, if you remember Ashton Kutcher.
Yes, who doesn't remember Ashton Kutcher?
Exactly. He was the host of that show. And so basically there's a Russian version of that show now. It's, basically kind of Beauty and the Geek. So there's like one guy, I played the role of a beauty, though I think that's a little bit debatable if I was the most beautiful person there, because my partner, she was technically a geek, but she was extremely smart, extremely beautiful.
Agree,
And well, anyways, we had to team up. For example, I had to do this quiz of Russian history against this other Russian guy who, he should have won. Like he had, I don't know, 9-10 years of Russian history. I've had like 1 year, not even 1 year, 9 years. Okay, 9 years, but like as a foreigner, like how do you?
Like personal experience.
Personal experience. Like everything I know about Russian history, it's like I, heard on like a museum tour of the Hermitage.
Hermitage. I mean, that's something.
Which is great, guys. I highly recommend St. Petersburg. Just amazing place. But yeah, and I don't know. I pulled out a miracle. It was like a Miracle on Ice. If you guys, I don't know if you know that movie.
I don't.
It's a Miracle on Ice. It's about how the United States beating the Soviet Union and
oh wow!
and ice
I should know that.
You should know. Well, it's more of a kind of American, our pride and joy that we beat the Soviet team. But yeah, it was like one of those type of moments. It's like I beat the person who should have won, who should have been the king, should have been like had the upper hand, the upper dog. But it was a cool show. It was a cool experience.
Yeah, well then thank you for sharing that. Also, you are an entrepreneur, right?
I would say I started my career here in Russia, working with Russian startups and so forth, and I had a couple of my own startups. Now I mainly work in real estate as my main revenue source. I work for an American company that does real estate, and it's also kind of another interesting aspect of my life here.
Then you're an athlete and a winner of national championships in American football.
That's what's cool too. Like imagine we have an American football league here in Russia. And and so it's really cool. So there's like I said, I've won 4 championships. 2 of them have been in flag football, and 2 of them have been in like the real form of football. Actual American football where you tackle and so forth. And so I play for this team, Moscow Spartans, and man, that's also been like just an amazing experience, and like having a brotherhood of friends here, and it's been a journey for sure.
And you've won a couple of times as well, right? So it wasn't like a solo win; it was like a series.
No, back to back. What's interesting, our club, Moscow Spartans, we have won every championship in tackle American football since 2017.
What?
So, but before that, I played for a team in St. Petersburg. Petersburg, and then I moved to Moscow. And when I moved to Moscow, I joined the Moscow Spartans and joined the winners. It's like that saying, if you can't beat them, join them. So that's kind of what I did in that respect. Yeah, football is great, and it's awesome because it's something I get to share from my own culture back in the United States. That was a big part of my life in the United States growing up. Played football from the time I was like 5 years old all the way up to high school. Even was a football assistant in college at Mississippi State. And it's cool. I get to share that and spread the love of football here in Russia as well.
Yeah, and here in Russia, American football, it kind of like a little,
Yeah. Well, I would say so obviously pretty much 99% of the guys who are on my football team who play American football, they're Russians. I would say actually football is a very Russian sport. It's a very Russian sport.
Some way, I would agree.
Yeah, because you got to have a tough mentality. You have to have a tough mindset, and it's all about pushing through pain. Picking yourself up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Russians uniquely kind of understand that
perseverance.
Exactly. That not everything's like roses and flowers. Life is a lot of dirt, and you got to wipe off the dirt and keep going.
What was the reason for you to move to Russia?
So a lot of people moving to Russia right now, they're moving because of traditional values and because they relate to Russian culture in that respect and of conservatism and so forth. For me, it's always been I moved to Russia because of opportunities. And so what happened is when I was studying in the University of the United States, I was studying political science. And I had to choose a foreign language to study alongside political science. My first year of university, it just so happened I was dating a Ukrainian girl, and she was like, "Oh, Hunter, please, study Russian. It means so much to me." I was like, I don't need that. That sounds like way too much work. That sounds too difficult. I'm gonna go with something easy like Spanish. Plus, Spanish, a lot of people in America speak Spanish, so it's way more useful. She was like, "Hunter, no, listen to me. I will do all your homework for you if you just sign up for Russian." I was
serious?
like, "Let's go." Shake my hand, and we did it.
That's a deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so I started studying Russian, and just from there, two things happened. One, I fell in love with it. It was fun. It was interesting. It was intellectually stimulating. But number two is I realized Russian is this key that can open up a lot of doors for me. And so from there, my second year of university, I got I did a full internship for 6 months in Uzbekistan. And imagine you go to Uzbekistan, there's only two languages you can speak in Uzbekistan, Uzbek or Russian,
exactly,
or you're not speaking. So
not at all,
Yeah, so I chose, I went there, did that internship, really my Russian really improved there. Came back, finished out my degree in the United States. And at that point I realized there's actually a scholarship program here in Russia through it's called the Presidential Grant for International Students. And it's this competition. You essentially write a research essay and you put together an application, you get references and that sort of stuff, and you apply, and you get basically a point-based system. And I applied through that, and I won. I was on June 14th, 2016. I got the notification that I won that scholarship, and I got to choose which university I wanted to come and study at. And I just knew at that moment, this is the pathway for me. This is what I want to do, where I want to go. And so I picked the St. Petersburg State University, and that September I flew out and came to Russia for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but for the good. I made that move, essentially.
How come St. Petersburg State University?
In that respect, to be honest, I didn't know a whole lot about the Russian university system. Obviously, and how could I? I mean, I grew up in the United States, and in the United States, it's kind of clear. These are our football schools. These are our academic schools, Harvard and Princeton and Brown. So what I did essentially is I became a Wikipedia scholar right before my.
Wow.
What I mean by that
is devotion.
What I mean is I went on Wikipedia and I Googled all the Russian universities, and I looked who graduated from those different universities.
Devotion.
And so I thought okay, I'm gonna go to the universities that has the coolest alumni. And I saw, Putin graduated from St. Petersburg State University. Medvedev graduated from St. Petersburg State University. Pavel Durov graduated from St. Petersburg State University. And my favorite Russian-American philosopher, Ayn Rand, she also graduated from St. Petersburg State University. Yeah, so.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Heck yeah. Also, for our Russian listeners, Olga Buzova also graduated from St. Petersburg State University.
Well, that's, you just hit the spot there.
That's right. Checked that box.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I chose St. Petersburg State University. And what's really cool is actually, I lucked out. That was a great decision because I ended up studying at the faculty, the Graduate School of Management, or VUSHAM, which is the #1 business school in Russia, and it's has ranked around the top 20 in the world. So it was
Wow.
So it was a great decision. I ended up studying with a lot of other just great individuals and professors, and man, that those 2 years in my master's really were formative for me. I think I really went from being a boy to a man, just because, in one sense, it was like moving to another country and having to be totally independent for my first time in my life, where there's no one who's going to bail me out. If I have a problem, I have to solve it myself. My parents can't come and save me. I didn't have a network at that time when I just moved. It was really taking responsibility, becoming independent, and I don't know. It was a little bit freeing. It was a little bit.
Liberating.
Liberating, but also, I don't know, just adrenaline, every day.
Oh, wow.
And so I would imagine that, anybody who moves to another country that probably has a similar experience is you're like a pioneer to some degree. You're having to solve your own problems. It was a great decision.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. That's a lot of very interesting stuff straight away.
Yeah.
But back again to you moving here.
Mm-hmm.
How did you prepare for the move, and what advice can you give to our subscribers with regards to moving to Russia?
I think it helps to have a plan and know exactly what you're going to do, because at this point, obviously, I've been here for 9 years. I've seen other Americans, other foreigners who've moved here, and some who have been successful, and the others who have not. The ones who have been successful, they've come with a purpose. They've come with a plan. They know exactly, hey, this is what I'm going to do here in Russia. And obviously, I did that as well. As I was going to go study at St. Petersburg State University. I was going to get my degree, and then just essentially begin working from there. However, actually, when I came, I didn't know that I was going to stay. I thought that I was going to be here 2 years and then go back to the United States and work in a big consulting company like McKinsey. So I think it's one, going ahead and developing a plan. Also, just Russian, I already had a base in Russian, so for me, solving everyday issues was not very difficult. Whereas, I've had other friends who've moved with no base of Russian, and it's easier in cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg. You can actually live in Moscow and St. Petersburg and not know a word of Russian, and you'll get by. To be honest,
Well,
I think so. I have friends who are Americans who live here, but I wouldn't suggest that, because I feel
that's not the advice.
Absolutely, I do not suggest that. I think is cool about that is I know there's some people who they're wanting to come here, they don't know any Russian yet, and that's okay. You can come here, you can learn Russian on the spot, having a base and just also having a purpose in Russian that I want to learn this. This is important for me. This is my goal every single day. I'm committed to it. It's a habit. I think that will set you up for success and take you from 0 to 100 very quickly.
What papers did you end up getting? Describe your experience in preparing the documents and interacting with local authorities.
When I just moved, thankfully, I had the university take care of most of my documents.
Yeah, exactly, because you came on a student.
That was easier. What's funny is, basically I had to fill out this application for the visa, for the student visa. I had to send in photos. But my university, they were the ones who were kind of, curating and telling me exactly, hey, this is what we need from you. When they told me they needed photos from me, I didn't realize what kind of photos, and so I actually took photos from my Instagram,
Are you serious?
And the first time I sent them Instagram pictures, and I was and there's cool photos of me, I can show you some of those photos later. But and they wrote me back very quickly, within 2 days, and they're like, Hunter, we need passport pictures. I was like, oh, okay, let me go to CVS and get a passport picture for you. So what's really cool, like I said, I studied business management at the Graduate School of Management at St. Petersburg State, and so most of my classmates, they went into consulting or working in big management within companies like Google and Yandex. I always kind of had an idea that I wanted to go my own route to some degree, and I wanted to do something a little bit more stimulating for me. So I started my career working with Russian startups, and I worked with startups like Electronic and MSP 360, really cool technologies that were doing robotic process automation, that were doing cloud computing, and actually in those first couple of years of working with startups, I really became kind of an expert in what's called inside sales. Inside sales is like lead generation and managing sales technology within a company. And so in around 2021, I got an opportunity to kind of move over to real estate, work with a company called Keller Williams, and I started doing inside sales with Keller Williams. And after a year of doing inside sales with them, I got recruited by Century 21, which is a global, worldwide brand. It's in Russia, it's in the United States, it's in Brazil, it's all over the world. And so, at this point, that's kind of my main job is figuring out the best lead sources for our company, making sure that when a lead registers on our website, that they get what they need, they get routed to the right department, the person who can help solve their problems, and then also our sales technology. We have a tech stack of things that make sales easier, faster, and more efficient. And that's my job, is constantly be teaching that technology to our agents, but also finding the best technologies that will continue to help us be successful. So it's been a really cool niche for me.
So you're a people person, and with a lot of media projects of yours, could you please tell us a little more about your recent and the upcoming one, actually, that one we talked about?
For a long time, actually, I had this kind of block in my head that I was like, I speak Russian, but not well enough to like go on TV. And so for the longest time, I wouldn't go do interviews. I wouldn't do projects that were offered to me in Russian on TV. That kind of changed last year. I got an invitation by my friend to go with him to Comedy Club. Comedy Club is like Russia's version of Saturday Night Live.
Exactly.
And so they have comics there. They do these skits that are really funny, and it's everybody watches it. Everybody knows Comedy Club. And I went there with my friend. I just thought we were just gonna that he had bought a table and that we were gonna be just sitting there and just watching the show. But a big then. My friend, actually, he was invited as a special guest. His name's Evgeny Chipatkov. He's one of Russia's top comics right now. And so they start the show, and actually they come immediately to Zhenya and start asking him questions about his upcoming tour or whatever. And Zhenya just hands me the mic and introduces me, and we have like a 3 to 4 minute conversation that just goes viral. And it turned out really funny. It was really organic. It was obviously totally improvised because I had no idea that was going to happen. And then right after that, after that show, I was just like, man, I can do this. What if I've been telling myself this trash in my head that I can't speak Russian well enough? Of course I can. And I realized at the moment, yes, I can, and I will. Let's do this. And so right after that, other TV channels and TED, the channel that hosts Comedy Club, they started reaching out to me about different projects. And so I did, the first big project was Games Without Borders, or Игры без границ. It was like this American Gladiator style show, sportsmen all across the world, playing for $100,000, and then I did another show that's very popular, Давай поженимся, Let's Get Married.
We all know that one.
Yeah, that's right. Russia's oldest, sweetest love show. I did that show, and
a very popular one.
And yeah, since then I've been doing a lot of different projects. I've been on 10 a couple more times, and I got another project that's coming up that's going to be very interesting.
Tell us about that.
I can't tell too many more details, but because it's
upcoming.
That's right. I signed an NDA, but it's a really cool show. Our American subscribers will relate to the show. They'll know it's a version of an American show that everybody knows. Let's just say that. And so right now I'm actually physically getting ready for that. Doing trainings every day, and exercising, make sure that when I
get in that shape.
That's exactly, that I'm ready to go, that I'm ready to compete at a high level. But yeah, it's a reality show, and that's also kind of been something that's also been a little bit more natural for me, is going on reality shows and just being myself and talking to people. That's kind of what I do. That's what I'm comfortable with, and so we'll see. I hope it works out. I hope the show goes well.
Of course. I mean, it's such a huge show, and I mean, it's a steal from an American one, so of course it's going to be great.
Yeah.
The greatest.
Well, I wouldn't say a steal. I would say, in my opinion, I think, Russia, SDS, has taken the show and made it a lot better.
Okay,
so
yeah,
that's my opinion. Oh, better in the sense I just watched the first season, and this will all be clear later, but man, it was just like, it was such a like a dobre show. It was just like such like good feelings, like good, like, man, good people, and they're all like I don't know, just they all have the right intentions, and like I don't know, you would watch the show and you feel really soulful afterwards. So
okay, well, soulful is a very big word.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's huge then for a TV show. What can I say?
yeah.
Your Russian is great, as we all know. Any tips for learning the language?
If you want to see results, you have to really treat it like it's drinking water, like it's eating lunch, like it's something that
Like a sport.
exactly, like, yeah, something that you feel weird if you didn't do it that day. Like brushing your teeth, like it has to be something like that. And so for me, like I really got into a podcast called Learning Russian with Max. And it's a great podcast. Doesn't matter, if you're just learning Russian or if you're advanced or intermediate. Essentially, he basically speaks in Russian, talks about different topics, stories, and he does it. Essentially, he doesn't use any English. He'll just explain Russian words, new Russian vocabulary, using other Russian words.
Wow. It doesn't get confusing or anything?
No. Well, you essentially build up that knowledge. So like maybe the first couple times you're listening to episodes, you're like, oh, I'm not getting that. But you start essentially grabbing words and holding on to them, and then using those words to help you learn other words and associate with other words. And he also does it, it's a slower pace. So he's not speaking 100 miles per hour. However, like at this point when I listen to him, I used to listen to one speed. Now I listen at like 1.5 because my Russian's gotten better. And to me, it's now it's a little bit too slow for me. But like you build up that strength, that muscle memory, that knowledge memory. And so I'd say start with that, and also just like especially when you come here to Russia, you'll notice that a lot of Russians will want to speak English with you. Okay. You've got to fight against it. You've got to say, no, нет, я хочу с вами говорить на русском, и только на русском, пожалуйста. And like, even if they answer back to you in English, just answer back in Russian. Давай,
just go right at them.
Exactly. So I did that, like, and I really think it helped. And then, really it.
You fought your ground.
Exactly. And then also don't be afraid to make a mistake. Like you learn from every mistake, and like no one cares if you if you use the wrong grammar, as long as they understand you, and they're going to understand you. So just be free and feel confident, and you'll get it really quick.
Be Hunter Cawood.
I don't know, but just be yourself. Everything will work out.
So in regards the learning language, you're saying that you're basically most likely to be understood, but do you have a funny situation in regards to learning the language, or in the case where you haven't been understood, or maybe something? Yeah,
so my funniest situation with Russian language was back in 2018, I was defending my dissertation. And so, it's a very serious thing here in Russia. You probably went through it, yeah?
I haven't, but yeah, I know the experience.
You've heard the horror stories.
I've heard, yes, exactly.
Yeah. So luckily in my university, you have, you get 3 attempts to defend your dissertation. And so I wrote my dissertation. Awesome dissertation. I recommend you read it at some point. It's called.
It's published, right?
It's published, actually. Yeah.
It must be.
Yeah. So it was basically a dissertation on factors hindering card payment adoption in Russia, and how we need to move Russia into a card-based system. Because when I moved to Russia, it was actually very cash. Okay, sorry.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was 9 years ago. So first attempt, I go there and I get up and I'm just like starting, super, me, like I'm just, I'm just, spitting out all the facts, information, and after about 2 minutes, my professor, she stops me and she's like, Hunter, excuse me, I'm looking over your dissertation right now. You don't have a signature from your from your scientific advisor. And I'm like, oh, is that necessary? And she's like, yes, of course it's necessary. No, Hunter, you can't perform your dissertation here without that signature. And I'm like, okay, no worries. I got 2 more attempts. No big deal. So I, take my dissertation, go, the next day to get that signature from my scientific advisor. The next week, I get to come again and defend the dissertation. And so I come in. And I'm ready. I'm confident. I got that signature. Like there's nothing stopping me. And so I go on. And I'm like, guys, this is why we need to, promote card payments in Russia so we can boost the economy. Blah 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 blah. And then after about 7 or 8 minutes, my professor, she stops me and she's like, Hunter, excuse me, I can see on your slide there, it looks like there's a mistake, like, and I like turn my head and I look at the slide and I'm like,
No.
which
We're gonna blur that one.
which for our listeners is a cuss word in Russian. And everyone in the room is like, oh, my professor's like, oh, Hunter, that is not appropriate in this environment, in this setting. Hunter, you're done. Stop. You're done. And I'm like, oh man, I really messed this up. Thankfully, I came in the third time. You know, third time is the charm. And you know what? Like Michael Scott says, everybody deserves a second chance. So I got my second chance on that third attempt. And anyways, went in, didn't cuss, had my signature, and everything went well. And I ended up graduating. So
you ended up graduating.
That's the happy end. Yeah, the happy story.
Okay, so yeah, then not language related, but still. When you first came, you had to find a place to live. How to find housing? How to solve the situation with finding a place to live?
Mm-hmm.
And what advice would you give? What should one be aware of when looking for a property?
When I first moved to St. Petersburg, it was straightforward because I lived at the dormitory. But when I moved from St. Petersburg to Moscow, obviously that was like a situation where I had to find my own housing. So there's different ways to go about it. There's a great company, and if you move to Russia, you'll know about it immediately. It's called Yandex, and Yandex has their own Yandex недвижимость, where it's like Yandex Realty, where you can find all the types of apartments that are for rent, and you can also search by essentially who's ready to do a registration for you. There's also like Facebook groups and so forth that people will help out foreigners who are looking for a place to live in Moscow and St. Petersburg, and that's also very helpful because they screen for people who are willing to do a registration for you. So I essentially went that route, found a place online that checked all the boxes that allowed me to register and so forth. And then the next part was just essentially going and signing a contract and having a deposit. So it wasn't too difficult. I think that step's a little bit. Yeah, like I said, the only difficult part is finding someone who's willing to do a registration for you. And because, again, the registration, it's pain. It's painful just thinking about it right now, talking about it. Like, I don't know if you could sense the pain in my voice. But besides that, finding that is nice. And so I highly suggest Yandex недвижимость, Yandex Realty for that. Was that did I answer that question?
Yeah. I mean, that's like advice. What should I guess one be aware of? But you kind of said that it's finding the person who will really register you.
Yeah, exactly. And and you can also what's also nice about Yandex недвижимость, you can also filter by apartments that require a full deposit or require like 50% deposit or a broker fee. So you can actually save money. Like I've never paid a broker fee. Because I've always like searched for apartments that don't have that don't have that filter, that are maybe directly from the what's it called, the owner of the apartment, or from like a company that manages lots of apartments. So so yeah.
Cool, thank you. Why did you end up choosing Moscow over St. Petersburg?
So a lot of people call Moscow or Moskva, but I call Moscow Vegas. Because I think Moscow, it's the place. It's a place for fun, business, and just a full life. And so, really, after I spent in total 3 years in St. Petersburg. So 2 years graduated. After 2 years, I graduated there and I stayed one more year. And after 3 years, I felt like I did everything. I felt like I'd already hit my ceiling, in terms of my career, in terms of what I wanted to achieve. Moscow, I felt that's like the next destination. Okay. That is like the final boss, The big boss. The big boss. And, I had visited Moscow a couple times at that point, and every time, obviously it's a huge transition from kind of a smaller big city like St. Petersburg to Moscow, which is very fast paced. It's huge. It's just like, it's a never ending city to some degree. I realized, I wanted to complete the next step of my Russian dream. And I tell everybody, my Russian dream is to жить красиво, быть красивым и делать красиво для других.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So if you translate that, my Russian dream is to be beautiful, do beautiful, and do beautiful for others. And so, did I translate that correctly?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I did it so quickly. Быть красивым, делать красиво. No, bad. My bad. It's be beautiful, live beautiful, and do beautiful for others. That's the English translation. And I felt like in Moscow, I could do all those things because Moscow, we have obviously
It has everything, yeah.
have everything. We have culture. We have all the. It's Moscow's like also the Hollywood of Russia. It's all the movies are and TV is here. We have all these art centers where on the weekends you can go see some of the most beautiful museums and you can see some of the most beautiful artists and you can go to plays and watch performances and so forth. We have all these beautiful parks just to have a really high level of life. And at the same time, yeah, it's a business place. It's you are in Moscow. It's a big city, but it's also kind of a derevnya. It's kind of like a village where you're one handshake from anything and anyone.
Yeah,
and I like that aspect of it. And I realized, I want to be someone here in Russia, and the way to do that is to move to Moscow.
Yeah, and people don't really shy away, like regardless of who you are, you can find anyone on the metro, really, because that's like the way to kind of move around the city.
Yeah.
You never know, really.
For sure, yeah. But yeah, so I think that that move to Moscow in 2019, that was probably one of the best decisions I made. And then COVID happened.
Oh, well.
Right after that, and but I'm glad I spent COVID in Moscow because yeah, it was a lot more enjoyable, I guess, a lot more tolerable, I could say. So.
Okay. Yeah, tolerable. That's a good word.
Yeah, I think no matter what, COVID was kind of like miserable for everybody.
Yeah. You can't really choose.
So we're on like a degree of tolerable.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the way. Yeah. Cool. Then relating to everything that's been said, so what's the advantage of living in Moscow over living in the States, for example?
I think there's a lot of advantages. What I would say to anyone is that life is short and you need to live where you're happy. And so like for me, like I'm extremely, extremely, extremely happy in Moscow. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One is like my group of friends. Like I've built just a great community of people who push me, who love me, who make me better, who motivate me. That for me is obviously a huge plus that I have here in Moscow. I mean, obviously, we can talk about like the standard of living, quality of life. Like money goes a lot further here. I don't have to worry about medical expenses so much. I don't have to worry about all these different insurances. I really can kind of achieve my financial goals faster here because there's just obviously cost of living is cheaper, but those kind of those requirements for life, health and transportation and your living accommodations, they're a lot more manageable here than like in the States, where unfortunately everything's just gotten completely inflated and gone crazy expensive. So yeah, from that perspective, that's also a big plus. But then again, like I said, it's having a quality of life, because I think like a human being, like it's the kind of lifestyle where you just work and you live to work, that doesn't work. That's not why we're alive. We work to live. And I think that in Moscow, you can really do that. You can work and then you can have a very vibrant life outside of work. Whether it's, like I said, going to plays, going to, art museums and seeing all the different kind of aspects of Russian culture and international culture, because Moscow's an international city, and Russia's a very diverse country. We have just this weekend that Bashkir group that got famous off that song "I Homai." You know what song I'm talking about?
No, actually,
it's a really popular song. It's like in the top charts Yandex right now. They had a concert in Moscow. So yeah, I mean, just like there's so much in that respect. And I did Kung Fu actually this weekend. I tried Kung Fu for the first time.
What?
Yeah, it was really
How
cool.
was that?
It was really cool. Really challenging, a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I totally underestimated those guys. But yeah, no, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like Moscow is like, you can really have that full, vibrant life that you're looking for, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg,
Okay, then if not Moscow, what city would you like to visit as a tourist and why?
Oh, as a tourist, I have a couple favorite cities in Moscow. Tolyatti. I don't know.
Okay, number
Yeah,
one.
number one, Tolyatti. It's just beautiful. It's nice. I went to my first Russian wedding in Tolyatti, and so it was
First Russian wedding out of how many Russian weddings?
okay. Like at this point, I've gone to like 3, but it was
Okay.
well, the first one. You always remember your first wedding.
First Russian wedding.
That's right. Yeah, so Tolyatti, big fan of Tolyatti, big fan of Kazan, big fan of obviously St. Petersburg because I lived there for 3 years. I've also been to Stavropol. If you know Stavropol, every year they have a big festival called Kardo. And it's like this street festival. It's really cool. And they have like street sports. Like it's kind of like a Red Bull event where they have skateboarding and break dancing, all that the cool stuff. But yeah, that's what's also cool is like I think for my whole life, I obviously I want to go to as many cities in Russia as possible, but I think Russia will never cease to amaze me in the fact that like, there's so much beauty, there's so many great places and cities and great people, and like the list I just gave you, it sounds like a lot, but
It does sound like
but really that's just so small. Like I still haven't been to Altai, I still haven't been really to Siberia, to Novosibirsk.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask how far east have you been?
Yeah, no, I haven't really gone east enough. But, with time, we'll fix that, so.
Hopefully soon.
That's right, that's right.
Cool, thank you so much, Hunter, for all this time you spent with us. And thank you for answering all the questions we had. And thank you guys for listening and for enjoying the video. I hope you did. Have a good one. See you on the next one.